Hi guys, so I am super excited for today's video. It is a book haul. I have a giant stack of books next to me to show you guys, but also I have an announcement, and it's one that I am very pumped for, and that is that I finally got my own P.O. box. It's technically not through the post office, so it's not actually a P.O. box, but it's basically a P.O. box. It's not my actual address, but it's an address you guys can send me stuff to, and the reason this is so exciting is because I know that there are a fair amount of you that are aspiring authors, and you have your own books published that you want to send to people, and instead of having to email me and ask me if you can send me your book and I can review it and things like that, you can just send it to me. You don't have to try and contact me first. I will admit that there are plenty of books on my shelves that I still need to read, so I can't guarantee that I will get to your book quickly and read it and have a review up and everything, but I can show it in a book haul. Beyond just aspiring authors, I know that some of you have books that you absolutely love and you would love to connect with other book nerds and be like, hey, you should read this book, it's one of my favorite books. So if you guys ever want to send me your favorite books or books you think I would like, you can do that. Or if you have your own company that you've started, whether it be Bookish Candles or book sleeves or bookmarks or anything like that, you can send it to me and I will show it in book hauls, or I'll do a video if I have a lot at a time being like bookish goodies or something, because I know I myself am self-employed and I love supporting other people's businesses. And as a side note, my birthday is this month on the 19th, so if you want to send me presents. Anyway, jumping into the book haul now. You guys know that I love both adult and young adult fantasy. This time around, a lot of the books on this list are young adult fantasy, but I'm going to start with the adult fantasy books, and the first one I'm going to mention is Tower Lord by Anthony Ryan. This is the sequel to the book Blood Song, which I loved. I did a full in-depth book review for that book. I mentioned it in my wrap-up. I loved it. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. It is one of my new favorite fantasy books, but I've heard mixed things about the sequels. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I end up loving them, but yeah, I've heard they're not as good. Next up, I have a book that I got with some store credit from my local used bookstore, and never heard anybody talk about this before, but it sounds really fun, and that would be Night Watch by, I'm gonna totally butcher this, Sergei Lukyanenko. When I found this, I decided to take a chance on it because the back of it gave me some Dresden Files vibes, and I think Dresden Files is so much fun. It says that there are magicians, shapeshifters, vampires, and healers, and when they get to a certain age, they have to choose whether they want to serve the dark side or the light side, and they have an uneasy coexistence that is enforced by this group called the Night Watch. I think it sounds super interesting and super fun. If you guys have read it, let me know, because I've not heard anybody ever talk about it. The last of the adult fantasy books that I got is the Parasol Protector. It's the first book by Gail Carriger. My friend Jashana, who has her own channel, and I love her. I'm always telling you guys to go check her out because she's the best. She absolutely loves this series. She thinks it's so much fun and kind of similar vibes to Night Watch. It has vampires and werewolves and stuff, and it's set in like kind of like a Victorian era. It sounds like so much fun. She loves it. I've heard a few people mention it, and all the people that have read it seem to say similar things, so I'm super pumped. Next up, and switching into the young adult books, I have a book that was also recommended to me by Jashana, and that would be Dear Martin by Nick Stone. This is actually the only book in the book haul that is not fantasy, but it follows a young African-American man who has seen some injustices done, and he starts a journal to Martin Luther King, and it just kind of explores his perspectives on things. It sounds really good, and though I don't normally read very many contemporary books, I think this is definitely one that I'm going to enjoy. The next 3 books I got were actually a part of a sale on Barnes & Noble's website where you could get 3 young adult books for $30, and brand new ones too, so I was like, yeah, that's a pretty good deal. I'm just kind of gonna go through them quickly because you guys have probably seen these on BookTube a bunch. So the first would be The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, and then I have Everless by Sarah Holland, which deckled, not speckled. I knew that didn't sound right. It has deckled pages, and in a video recently I was talking about how much I love these, and everybody's like, oh, I love deckled pages too, and I was like, ah, you guys are nice, politely like correcting me. The third book I got in this set is a sequel, and I've been trying really hard to not buy sequels unless I've read and enjoyed the first one, but I think the first one sounds great. I've heard great things, so I was like, I need a third book anyway. And that would be Thunderhead, which is the sequel to Scythe by Neil Shusterman. Next up, we have a book that I got from my local used bookstore, again with store credit, and also it was on sale for I think around $5. It is not new. Pretty sure it's an older book, but I've never really heard anybody talk about it, and it's called Assassin's Heart by Sarah Ahears. Man, I was not expecting so many of the authors today to give me trouble. But anyway, this book, it has assassins. And if you guys know, if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I like freaking love assassins in books. I just think it's so cool. It's the coolest trope ever. So anytime I see anything about assassins, I'm like, what's this? And this one sounds really good. It's about these rival families that are all assassins, and a girl from one of the families, her whole family gets killed, and she assumes it has to be from one of the rival families. And the downside is that well, there's many downsides to that already because her family's dead, but she thinks that her friend, who is a part of this rival family, might have been a part of it. And so there's this, like, can I trust this only person I have left in my life, and I have to get revenge. And it sounds like a pretty good story, and I've never heard about it. So if you guys have read it, let me know, because I'm curious your thoughts. And lastly, I got the brand new book, Children of Blood and Bone, by yet again another author's name I'm going to destroy, and it would be Tommy Adeyemi. I've had my eye on this book ever since last year. At the end of last year, I was looking at when some of my anticipated releases were going to come out, and I saw this book as a debut book, and I thought it sounded really interesting. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it has more African influences rather than your typical European influences in fantasy, and I personally love, oh my gosh, I love any of the like medieval European type flares in books. I'm always a sucker for those. I'll never get tired of it. But I think it is so cool that there are starting to be more of other cultures being kind of influenced in fantasy. I think that is so cool. So anyway, I think that the plot of this book also sounds really awesome, and there's a little chunk at the back that I think actually sums up the plot, the synopsis, pretty well. It says, they killed my mother, they took our magic, they tried to bury us, now we rise. From what I've seen of people who got advanced reader copies, they've been saying really good things about that book, so I hope it sounds super awesome. I'm hoping I'm gonna like it too. But anyway, that is it for my book haul. There was actually a lot of books, so saying that's it is kind of an understatement. But anyway, if you guys have heard of any of these, have read any of these, or want to read any of these, let me know that in the comment section down below. And if you've ever wanted to send me any books or any bookish type things, I now have an address you can send that to. I'll have it linked in the description bar, or maybe a pinned post in the comment section so that you guys can see it easily. If you liked the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Click the little bell icon so you get notified when I post new videos, and check out some more of my videos right over here. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.